But when one starts to really realize of spirituality in its deepest sense is about the realization of what is real. And I say in its deepest sense because spirituality itself can serve an immense array of agendas. And spirituality does serve a whole lot of agendas, right? Cultural cohesion and helping people to feel better and community, a sense of community. And there's many, hundreds of agendas that spirituality can serve. Can serve. Very rarely does it actually serve the discovery of what's real, because almost all of the forces are constructed as a means of avoiding what's real. So what's real is actually often the very last thing we get down to. That's why most human beings don't even think about what's real until things in their lives get very difficult, right? It doesn't have to be this way, but often, for a lot of people, they start to think, what's real? What's it really all about? What am I really? What's this life all about? When something very difficult happens, somebody dies, they get ill, just aging will bring it up. Very often it's addictions of various sorts, losing a job, various things will, for a moment, a bit of the clouds part, enough of the clouds for the question to arise, what's really real? What's worthwhile? What's true? And for a moment there's a sense of a greater possibility than just existing from one drama to the next, of existing in this virtual reality that minds create, which ultimately leads to a very deep sense of separation and isolation. The nice thing about the real is that the real, well, because it's real, it's the only thing that actually exists. You see, it's the nice thing about the real. It's not like you have to go hunting for the real. It's the real is what exists, everything else is but a dream. You see? Which is actually to a great advantage, that you're in the real, living in the real, breathing in the real, existing in the real. You yourself are that which is real. What we call ultimate reality. The essence of all. You yourself are the real. And so, the best way to realize the real is when you begin to perceive for yourself from your own observation. When you perceive for yourself everything that the mind is creating, and you start to realize that what it's creating is this sort of virtual reality show of illusion. And it's not, that is not where the real is. This is an immense step for a human being. It's an immense step to begin to realize in oneself that the real is not to be found in the creations of mind. Immense step. I don't mean that it's necessarily a difficult step. I just mean that it's an immense step to consider that the real isn't something that exists in mind. One would think that this realization, this scene, would be so ridiculously and unimaginably obvious that none of us could possibly have ever missed it. You see? One would think, wouldn't it? One would think that anybody with a shred of sense, with two brain cells rubbing against each other, would be able to have realized long ago that what we can think isn't necessarily real, right? You can think about water all day long, but it's not going to quench your thirst. You can think about going to Tahiti, but it's not going to get you there, right? You can fantasize about being somewhere, but it's not going to get you there, and on and on. One would think, and of course I'm not saying this to you because I can imagine that I didn't see it. I still can't even fathom how long it took me to see just this simple thing. And this simple thing isn't really enlightenment, this is just a simple thing. But it's an immense thing. When one starts to see the implications of it, it's an immense thing because human beings find basically all of their reality in their mind, in their personal psychology. That's where they find out what's real, right? That's where we decide, you're good, you're not good, this is not good, this is right, this is wrong, it's all found in mind, in concepts. In a mind that's talking to itself. And once you perceive, when it dawns on you, or within you, that by its very nature, none of that could possibly be the real, it will cease when your brain functioning ceases. It has nothing to do with the real. Maybe useful at times? Sure. Minds are very useful. Minds are a terrible thing to waste, and minds are also a terrible thing to overuse. The real. What's real? This is what spirituality is all about. This is what a human existence with true vitality, with true life force, with a sense of beauty, really, is all about. It is coming into the realization of what's real. As soon as one realizes what's real, as soon as you realize what you really, really are, as opposed to what your mind tells you you are, when you realize what you really are, then you are completely connected, completely consciously at one with reality. And this is why that we have always called this throughout the centuries, often, awakening, because it is awakening to what's real. And when you awaken to what's real, it's as if, it literally feels as if you come out of a dream. It literally is very much like when you wake up from a dream in the middle of the night and you go, my God, that wasn't actually real. A minute ago, it was real. It was my whole existence. And in the next second, you wake up in the night and you realize, oh, it wasn't real. If it was a bad dream, you'll be very happy to realize it wasn't real. If it was something very good that conformed to your desires, you might wish you could go back to sleep and complete the unreality of it. But nonetheless, there is a sense of immediately knowing that what you once thought was real, you see now isn't real. Your whole sense of reality transfers back from illusion to truth. To what you really are. And this is the yearning within every human heart.